And we're back in the playoffs, everybody. Hi, welcome. Tuesday night here in the 22nd in the Tribe after an exciting victory again tonight. A walk-off for J-Ram as they are back in the playoffs tonight, clinched. And ironically, on the day that J-Ram got big publicity from Jeff Passan, who's a great writer for ESPN.com, talking about why he should be MVP. What a serendipitous moment for all of us Cleveland fans. This is my name's Andy Billman. I'm here for a quick take on the Tribe and everything else. Jared in Cleveland and Beyond will be back on Friday. He's on vacation this week, but back on. But I thought I'd take you through some quick hitters about tonight. Just a great, what a perfect week, perfect day. I know it's kind of like a week with like a hook, meaning, this hot streak for Ramirez really started all the way back in Detroit. But it's amazing in a short season how things can change as a perception for a player, for a team. Coming off the losing streak, leaving the North Side, it really felt like the Indians, really after that series, we all knew as fans that the Indians were going to make the playoffs, but it was Debbie Downer stuff. It was hard not to. Again, even when I was doing the last podcast with the Indians finally winning and breaking the streak with Bieber, even on the podcast, I said, all this will be forgotten because the Indians are going to make the playoffs. Still not a good vibe. It wasn't a great feeling, but tonight, J-Ram really stands a lot for Cleveland more than I think people realize at times. His hustle, his heart on his sleeve. He is one of my favorite players on the team, one of my favorite players in the city. I know everybody gives attention to Lindor, and it's well-deserved. He is the most talented player. But the player who really represents the hardworking, scrappy, just gets everything out of his God-given talent is Jose Ramirez. And there's not a better guy and not a better person to hit that walk-off home run tonight than him. And again, on a day where Jeff Passan from ESPN.com made a good representation of why J-Ram should be considered for the MVP, where it looked like at one point actually was going to go to, I know there have been rumors about Anderson and Abreu from the White Sox, who ironically played the Indians tonight. But the bigger talk was, would Bieber get both, the Cy Young, which we'll get to here in a second, and the MVP? So to watch J-Ram do that tonight, I think really punctuates, again, a really great 6-game stretch for him to start in Detroit and ended here tonight. And obviously after tonight now it's all about the playoffs. But what just an exciting victory. I hope everybody gets a chance to, watch the highlights at some point. If you haven't seen it, J-Ram in the bottom of the 10th, down 1 run, hits a walk-off home run. And again, gets the Indians in the playoffs. And the energy, just the love that he shows, very, very happy for the young man. And, J-Ram, it's not surprising that in a year that has been upside down and with the COVID and everything else, that's really J-Ram, Jose Ramirez, really taking the lead here in the last 6 days and leading the offense. It's kind of how it should have been. And earlier in the year, it was definitely Reyes, and Reyes has cooled off in the month of September. And really up until, again, at the end of the Chicago Cubs series, I think we're all wondering who is going to be able to lift this lineup, really lift the bats. And Jose Ramirez has taken that and ran with it. And again, example A here tonight, just a wonderful, wonderful 6-game stretch for him. And, just to kind of give like a couple stats that, again, credit all of Jeff Passan, since August 26th, J-Ram leads the major leagues with 11 home runs, now 12. And spots an OPS better than 1.2, which you got to be after tonight. It has to go up. And he's tops in all baseball fan graphs and WAR as well. J-Ram really should be considered for the MVP. And sometimes in sports, there's posterizing or postcard moments or whatever you want to say. I think that plays a big part in these votes. And I think tonight J-Ram got that postcard moment. He got that posterized moment in a big spot. And ironically, the Indians have a good chance of playing the White Sox again, which we'll get to here at the end of the podcast to talk about that. Great win. Good to see the Tribe get in because now they can totally focus on the playoffs. Not that they weren't anyways that they would have lost, but now they can really put everything into rest. These next 5 days are just that. They're just 5 days of baseball. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's getting geared up, getting ready for the playoffs. And you know what? It's hard not to feel good about this club. And really, I'm giving props to J-Ram. Obviously, Bieber, Plesac, even with all the things that he went through this year, when he's come back, Plesac has been a solid number 2 for this team. He is going to be the second pitcher coming out in the playoffs this year. I think Cookie will be your third. I think those are going to be your 1, 2, and 3 in the round. But the other guy, too, I want to give a tip of the cap to is Sandy Alomar. A lot of people on social media and some fans at times have really, I think, been very, very hard on Sandy. And in a year where Francona has not been healthy and has been dealing with all that stuff, and hopefully he's doing better and feels well and he's got his health underneath him. Sandy, remember, too, no Mills, no Van Berkeley, the hitting coach. He has been dealt with a lot of things on top of COVID. And Sandy's done a nice job getting this team ready and prepared for October. So, for people who have been hard on Sandy, I don't really understand it because, again, in a normal year, if you have all your bench coach and you have your hitting coach and you got everything else at your fingertips, maybe you can get hard on Sandy. But Sandy hasn't had any of those things on top of COVID-19, on top of trading your second best pitcher in the middle of the year, flipping your lineup around. I mean, Sandy's done a very nice job and deserves more props for how he's handled this team. I wanted to make sure he get his tip of the cap because he's a big reason why this team's gotten here. I don't think he gets enough credit. Now, do I think he's an outstanding manager? Well, that's debatable. We don't know. But Sandy has done a good job of getting this team ready. And truthfully, and I mentioned this on a previous podcast on Cleveland and Beyond, you have to wonder if they're grooming Sandy to become the future manager of the Tribe. And the way this goes out here tonight, no matter what happens in the playoffs, it's a good look for Sandy Alomar, who should be getting a job down the road, whether it's in Cleveland or somewhere else. So kudos to him. He's done a very nice job here. So now turning the page, what's forward? Right now, it is the Indians and White Sox. That could change. The Twins could overtake the White Sox at any point. And obviously, those seedings are always fluid. The A's could get in the second slot or whatever else. So not really the time you have to break down who the Indians are going to play. We'll do that on Cleveland and Beyond on Monday. But I think the bigger thing here now is, I mentioned who is the third starter outside of Bieber's one. We know that. Plesac two. We know that. I would think you'll go with Cookie. And, for people who want to get into that real quick, Cookie is a veteran who's pitched in the playoffs. I think it makes too much sense for Carrasco to just be in that start because in the back end you'll have Tristan McKenzie, which I think is smart. Tonight they kind of previewed, Mandy Bell kind of tipped us off tonight on Indians.com platform. Mandy kind of discussed how Carl Willis was mentioning they want to see what Tristan can do out of the bullpen, which I think makes a lot of sense, especially what you've seen out of a lady from Cam Hill and Phil Maton, who did have another bad night. Maton has really struggled recently. In my opinion, it's obviously Hand, Karinchak, Quantrill after tonight. Quantrill looked really good. And I think, obviously Whitgren too, the Boilermaker. I think after those four, you got Oliver Perez. I think Tristan McKenzie being that guy out of the bullpen along with Plucko makes a lot of sense. And Savali being your fourth starter if you get that far in the playoffs. I think that's what you're looking at there. But anyways, again, I would give the third starter, if you need that third game in first round, to Carrasco, and just having Tristan McKenzie out of the bullpen and Savali out of the bullpen in case they are needed for all that. So I think that's the biggest touches here. When you look forward to for the Indians, there's really not a whole lot more mystery. There'll be some lineup things. You're going to see, you're going to see Naylor in certain situations. You're going to see Naquin in certain situations, and you're going to see Luplo against lefties. There's no doubt. All that kind of stuff, those stuff we've been dealing with forever. I think center field is going to be Delino DeShields. I think at this point, Mercado playing big spots, it does not feel right to me. It'll be interesting to see what the Indians do there, but I think you're definitely going to see DeShields there in the playoffs starting center field. So all that kind of stuff is not so much a mystery anymore to me. I think the Indians are really, this is who they are. And now knowing you have a good chance at a front runner for not just one, but possible two candidates in J-Ram and Bieber, maybe winning AL MVP. And for people out there who have not seen recently, the latest sports bets today with Bieber winning the Cy Young is a minus 2,500. So Bieber's going to win the Cy Young. And hopefully Bieber wins the MVP or J-Ram. So there's a good chance the Indians could take home both trophies this year. And I think after tonight, again, I've learned this in sports, posterizing postcard moments like J-Ram had tonight goes a long way. Would not be surprised if J-Ram gets a lot of push here in Vegas to become the favorite now for the MVP as well. So a great, again, after all that crap of losing 8 games in a row, what a great stretch for the Tribe. Plesac with his immaculate inning. Also last week, that was good to see. And again, it has just been A wonderful, wonderful, wonderful run here for the Tribe in the last 6 games after just a stretch. We won't relive that tonight here. So it's good for the Tribe. It's exciting to see that. Jared and I will get more into this on Friday leading into the Washington Football Club game, and then leading more on Monday going into round 1 here as the Tribe will be the 7th seed unless something changes there with the Blue Jays. But at this point, I don't think it really matters. Just great to see that. And as for the Browns, getting to them real quick, good to hear that Mac Wilson, Greedy Williams, Kevin Johnson, they're all feeling good. You get the vibe that maybe all 3 will be back, especially it sounds like Kevin Johnson from people who have been reporting on the Browns. And it looks like Greedy Williams and Mac Wilson will also be a ghost. That's great news. Really been a positive week for Cleveland here. Seeing the Tribe get in the playoffs with the Tribe's hot streak. Obviously, the Browns' big victory on Thursday. Been a very good run after a miserable stretch of 8 games losing streak and whatever happened there in Baltimore, which we try to forget. So great time to be a Clevelander. Exciting stuff. It's always good when the Tribe is in the playoffs. So it'll be fun to watch. Again, Jared and I will get more into that. There's a new show that I'm coming out with Holly Wetzel that's going to be on sports and entertainment and a little bit of business. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. So when you see me on tomorrow night with her, that's what that is. It's a brand new show getting into television and sports and entertainment, something cool around the industry that I really get into, and ratings and numbers and all that stuff. So please check it out. Holly Wetzel and I will be doing that. And Holly does a lot of work for Awful Announcing as well. So it'll be great to have her. So when you see me and her tomorrow night, that's what you're going to see there. Then Jared and I are back on Friday. Woo! A lot of information there. So again, congrats, kudos. I'm so happy for the Indians. What a great, what a long season this has been. There has been a lot of storylines. We won't relive them all tonight, but what a way to end it. What a great way to get in. I'm very, very happy for J-Ram. He deserves this. He is such a good guy. He plays with his heart in his sleeve. He gets every bit of energy out of this club. So to see someone like that win that big spot and do that postcard moment, it feels good. And honestly, the last closing moment, it's interesting here on Tuesday night on 22nd, how it looks like right now, Bieber's definitely got the Cy Young. And, it's either going to probably be Bieber or J-Ram, in my book, having a great chance winning MVP unless Anderson and Abreu take it. And to be honest with you, what I've seen this year, it's probably going to be Bieber or J-Ram, probably J-Ram winning it. So it's amazing how things can change in 6 days, isn't it, in baseball? It's amazing. So more to come. Tomorrow, Holly Wetzel and I will be doing a show on sports and entertainment and television. Check that out. Jared and I are back on Cleveland and Beyond to preview the Washington Football Club, talk more about the Indians as they head in the playoffs. We'll do a bigger playoff preview going into Monday's game, going into whoever they play, and more on that next week. So again, Holly Wetzel and I Wednesday. Friday will be Jared and I back. A lot of cool stuff. We have a lot of good announcements coming out too with Evergreen Podcasting, which we'll get into as the week goes on. Woo! Go Tribe. Good to see this. Great win tonight. For people who have not checked it out, please do. Thanks for joining me here tonight. Roll Tribe, roll.